Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2019 IESF 19th Esports World Championship. I think I got that right. My name's Rapid. I'm here casting with Brian Choi, and we are going to be bringing you all the eFootball PES 2020 action ahead of schedule. It's 2019. We're already in 2020, man. It's good to be casting some PES.
For sure. I'm looking forward to some of the most high-quality PES action. And I just can't wait until we dive into the actual matches.
Yeah, that's right. If you've been watching PES or PES, we'll probably call it both things depending on where you're from. This is a soccer. It has the word soccer and football in it. So whatever you call it, wherever you're from, you've probably seen this game played by traditional players in traditional sports in some of the biggest stadiums around the world. But we're bringing it to eFootball this year. And honestly, with the PES 2019 championships having occurred, I'm just like, oh my goodness, these players are so good. And oh, by the way, we've got some of the best PES players around the world here today to represent their countries. 33 competitors here. It's a lot of incredibly talented PES 2020 players.
Indeed. And I guess we're going to check out some infographics.
That's right. We've got so much info for you guys. You can't even hold it. But don't worry, we'll be breaking it down here in just a second as soon as we have that info ready for you up on your screen. Because there is a lot on the line here today. Players will not only be representing their country, but of course they'll be representing themselves and their teams. It's a very, very important occasion. And here's what's happening. Here's where it's happening. 3 days of competition here at the VSG Arena in Seoul, South Korea. So if you can find that place, come down, check it out. It's going to be some amazing competitions in Dota 2, eFootball, PES 2020, and then Tekken 7 as well. For this 11th Esports World Championship. Here's a look at the prize breakdown, but also note that the overall national champion will receive over 10 million won, that's about $10,000 USD, for being the overall champion of the 11th Esports World Championship. And that's between Dota 2, eFootball, PES 2020, and then Tekken 7 as well. Some pretty big prize pools on the line, Brian.
Yeah, and also it's not just competing for the big bucks too, you know? They're competing for their individual prides as well as their respective nations' fame and pride as well. So it will be very interesting to watch these games.
That's right, and here's a look at all of the nations participating in this 11th Esports World Championship. There's a total of 46 different nations represented in all three of our different esports titles from all around the world. It's an exciting time to see this national competition in the 11th Esports World Championship. Wherever you're from, there's probably either your country or a country very near you competing in this World Championship. And the number of countries competing grows every year, so it's really exciting to see all of these countries competing here today. This is a look at our matches. So specifically for the eFootball PES 2020 games coming up, this is what it's going to look like.
Yep. So for group stage, we have best of ones. And for the playoffs, we have all best of threes. And in group stage, if we have a tie, then we'll go through by total points acquired, followed by goal differences, goals scored, results of their head-to-head match. And if everything is tied from 1 through 4, then we'll go through a 5-minute playoff to determine who will advance or not.
I love how we have 5 different ways of breaking ties. Like, I don't know how common ties are going to be or if we'll even have them, but suffice it to say, it's going to be hard to get all the way to those 5-minute playoffs, the extra penalty. I just wish that was the only way that we had to break ties, because I think that's really exciting, but for competitive integrity, we're going to be going through the tiebreakers that way. So let's take a look at the groups for this 11th Esports World Championship here. There's 8 groups. Of course, Group H has an extra team in there, but it's really exciting. I don't know if any of these can be really considered a group of death, though, if you want to think about it that way.
Just looking at this, I think groups A and B are pretty stacked, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean other groups are not comparable by any means. I think all groups are very stacked, but those 2 groups just pop out in particular.
And now coming up, we're going to take a look at the matches that will be being broadcast for you guys today. Even though there's going to be many matches happening, we can only broadcast a few of them, so we're going to be starting out with Italy versus Serbia, and then Korea versus Brazil. And then in our second session, which will be broadcast later on tonight at 8:30 p.m. KST, We're going to have Vietnam versus Austria, Thailand versus the Philippines, Poland versus the Philippines, and then Thailand versus Macedonia. So yeah, that's a look at our games. Anyone that you're in particular that you're looking forward to casting, Brian?
Oh, the first 2 matches I think are going to be very spectacular.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, we actually kind of we're not saving the best for last. We're going to hit you with some really, really exciting matchups right off the bat. I think especially because you have our home nation, like South Korea, playing in our second match. And then we're going to be starting things out with an incredibly talented Italian representative who I really think has a lot of potential, at least based on previous tournaments.
Indeed. And I think he is in one of the pro teams, if I'm not mistaken.
If I'm not mistaken either.
Yeah,
that's right. So he's playing for Clash when he represents his team, but of course here players are representing primarily their country, which just kind of adds a new aspect to it. So we've got a couple of players to introduce. And there is Teclis. He is, of course, our Italian representative that I was mentioning. And while he may be representing his team and his national federation, like you were talking about, he does represent Clash, which is the team that he competes in the eFootball PES league. So definitely a very skilled player and one of the players that we're going to be watching over the course of this competition.
Yep, and on the other side, we have the Serbian representative, Kepa.
Yeah, that is Kepa. Slavkovic Dragan Stefan, he is here to represent Serbia, of course. And, you know, Serbia is actually a championship nation. I believe 2016 they won the Esports World Championship. Or was it 2015?
I believe it's 2015.
That's correct.
And then Korea had reclaimed the title since 2016.
They bounced back after that. But still, Serbia, a nation that's incredibly talented in esports, as illustrated in the 2015 IESF Esports World Championship. So it's going to be exciting to see if in this new title, eFootball PES 2020, if they can reclaim that championship title. We're getting ready for our first PES 2020 game of the day. Teclis facing off against Kepa, Italy versus Serbia.
Well, it's going to be very crucial who gets the first dub here, because every dub counts, and they're playing only 3 matches in the group stage, so they need points desperately. That's
absolutely true. It's just a best of 1 for this opening group stage match, so you have to get it done here. There's no chance for a comeback. I think we're about ready to jump into our first game.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this. Obviously, both of these competitors have traveled an incredibly long distance to get here, but they arrived a few days ago and have had a chance to practice and get ready for today's games. Looks like we're still preparing, getting into that first game. So, you know, we were talking ahead of time about some of the favorites, some of the nations that we expect to do very well. And like you were saying, we actually have a lot of those nations coming up. Korea in our second match of the day, and here in Group A, seeing Teclis compete is, you know, obviously, you know, very exciting. And, you know, for Kepa, I don't actually know what to expect from him. Still a little bit new to the eFootball PES environment. So I'm excited to see what happens, because as always, upsets are always possible.
And also based on Serbia's previous performances.
Looks like we are ready to get into our first game of the day, so let's get into it. Our first match in the eFootball PES 2020 competition here at the 11th Esports World Championship.
All right, so Teclis is using Juventus, home club, and Barcelona is taken by Kepa. Both very, probably 2 of the strongest squads available in this version.
So you mentioned that these are 2 of the strongest squads. Obviously, there are many squads that can be chosen. I think that's a little bit more limited for this eFootball PES 2020 competition here at the 11th Esports World Championship. So suffice it to say that among the squads that are available for being used here, these are definitely 2 of the strongest.
Probably these are 2 of the most widely used ones, I believe, in this event. And also it's a classic Ronaldo versus Messi matchup.
I mean, yeah, look, it doesn't get much better than that. Pretty exciting to see that. Even virtually names some of the biggest names in football and eFootball, as the case might be.
All right, Dybala with the great through pass. However, That's an unforced turnover.
Oh
and
my
then
God, that's the
with
first goal
with
of
the
the game.
ricochet ball, there's the first blood.
Not even 11 minutes in, and we've already got the first goal on the board. Of course, that is going to be going to Juventus. Bonachardi with the first kill, or first goal of the game. I'm actually super excited because that looked rough, and then it looked like they were actually going to clear, but unfortunately couldn't quite get it far enough away. So already only 11 minutes in, our first goal being scored.
I mean, it can be very unfortunate on Kepa's side because when that ball got deflected and ricocheted, the ball literally just dropped right in front of Bernardeschi's foot, and then he just made a clean goal out of it in the box. So, yeah, very unfortunate incident for Kepa's end.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely do not want to start that off. Now, in some of the games that we were watching yesterday as we were kind of preparing for this, there were some games that were honestly pretty decided all the way from the outcome. There were games where you just score 1, 2, 3, like very, very early quick lead, and obviously that really shifts the momentum. And then there are games that are really decided by either early ejections or one player being clearly a mismatch. Now, I don't think either of our players are mismatched here, but it does look like, oh, it's so scary to see Juventus with such an early lead.
Techless using these through passes very efficiently and getting the ball successfully to the attackers, but just couldn't finish it off this time.
Now Kepa finally looking to be in a strong attacking position, but a turnover will send it right back to midfield. And I mean, it doesn't feel like Kepa is really able to make much progress. Techless looking for yet another shot on goal here. Oh, does get it intercepted. So not quite. I'm going to have to learn to not call this quite so early, but already a little bit of an altercation. You know, it's hard for me to figure out whether or not those are actually going to be fouls or not, but it looks like we're playing a clean game of eFootball here. Another nice clear there by Techless.
Yeah, still pressing on the boss, but unfortunately Kepa turned it over. I mean, Juventus has stacked group of defenders. So especially the center backs, they're very good at ball winning. They have great defensive stats, and they can also pass the ball relatively well compared to the other center backs from different clubs. So it is very hard to go through those two center backs of Juventus right now.
And very strong defensively, but sometimes defense is the best offense. So once you've scored, all of a sudden, you don't necessarily need to go ahead and cement your lead, because as we see right now, if you get too aggressive, sometimes you make small errors in judgments like that offside.
Yeah, I mean, it was a chance that he was able to take, but he was slightly off.
Yeah, you do have to watch out for that, even in
chance.
eFootball. But now here we
Ronaldo.
go, another shot on goal.
Oh, Seoul barely left to that far post.
That was close and scary. I mean, you have to be holding your breath if you're Kepa right now, because one goal, not an insurmountable deficit. But as soon as you start going down 2-3 goals, like that's really hard to make up the difference here. It's 90 minutes, but we're already a third of the way through. This is going to be hard to come back from.
And also, Kepa currently has really no answers to Techless's maneuver, which is coming from the sides and then converging at the center with a through pass, and then get the shots that he wants. Now, sometimes those through passes can cause those offsides, but nonetheless, if he doesn't turn it over in the center of the field, then he should be completely fine. Just keep pressing Kepa onto his end of the pitch.
Yeah, now Jordi Alba really in a great position here off to the sides. When you look for scoring position, traditionally you're going to be looking for receivers on the on the sides of the goal, because different different games, different play styles being what they are. Traditionally, at least from what we've seen, the most common way to score is either to position it to the side of the goal, pass towards the center, and then look for an easy goal right there. And it looks like that's what we have right now.
Yep.
Goal!
Second goal. None other than Cristiano Ronaldo.
I mean, if it had to be somebody, Ronaldo scoring goals, name a more iconic duo, I'll wait. So now a dominant 2-0 lead already for our professional Italian competitor. Now, we were talking about his pro gaming career outside of the 11th Esports World Championships, but sometimes the stakes are highest when you are representing your country here, doing a great job, off to a great start at the beginning of this 11th Esports World Championship.
And as you can see from the replay, you can't turn the ball over on near your box. And that's exactly what happened for Kepa. And then Teclis just completely capitalized on it.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of felt like, while Ronaldo was running in to, get that point on the board, the rest of Barcelona were just kind of watching it happen. Like, yes, that's a ball. It's going towards my goal. Well, maybe you should do something along with that. But now the shoe is on the other foot, as it were, trying to make it past midfield to put pressure on to Teclis, but it doesn't feel like he's really feeling any pressure at all.
Well, he has to get a lot more aggressive because he's down 2 scores.
Right.
However, at the same time, he can't turn the ball over near his side by any means, because if he reiterates the same turnover, that's exactly what happens.
A beautiful goal. But it's one of these you can really see that Teclis is really hitting his stride. It felt like the first one was like maybe a fluke, got a good position, and it went his way. But now that we're starting to see these goals pile on one after another, it's pretty clear that Teclis is really feeling himself today.
Well, we can tell that he is an extremely high caliber of a player, because usually the best of best never squanders opportunities from the opposition's turnovers. And that's what he exactly has done for the past 20 minutes in game.
Yeah, I hope we can see some stats later on about the percentage control, because it just is so insurmountable. Now, Ronaldo scored in goals. We were talking about that, but when you look towards FC Barcelona, you've got guys like Messi, obviously iconic, but Suarez is the finisher. Is just such a good combo. And if you're looking for Barcelona, for Kepa to come back in this game, I feel like that's kind of what you have to rely on.
Well, based on his use of players, he has Griezmann in it as well. And he's not attacking the outer sides of the pitch, and he's just mainly focused on attacking through the central field, which I think it's not that effective, especially against...
Goodness. Here we go, one of the best attempts. I think that was the best attempt he had all game long, but unfortunately goes a little bit wide. The pressure that Teclis is able to keep up even in these positions that are a little bit dangerous, it's still just a little bit too much for Kepa.
I mean, you can see he has set up a completely great man-to-man coverage. The defenders of Juventus are tightly marking most of the players from Barcelona. So that's why Kepa isn't getting any clean opportunities to make the play. And that's it for the first half, 3-0. Yeah, dominant performance by Teclis' part.
Yeah, it's nice to see some mutual respect between our competitors as we enter this halftime. Now, I don't think we're going to take an actual halftime intermission, but it's still kind of dominant to see what these players can accomplish even in just the first half of the game. Already domination from Teclis from Italy.
Yeah, I'm very excited to actually consistently monitor his gameplays throughout this event, because usually it is very hard to capitalize on other people's mistakes.
Right.
Because you can create your own, but he has been immaculate in terms of his execution. So it will be very interesting how he performs. And if he can perform like this consistently throughout the next 3 days, well, he will be one of the top contenders for sure.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Brian. This is only the beginning of the 11th Esports World Championships. This is the first games we're casting this year. So it's exciting, at least for me, to see competitors already coming out of the grate. He's got some hot hands, or feet, as the case may be, and it's really a testament to not only these players and their skill level here at this championship, but keep in mind these are players that have prepared long and hard through a lot of very grueling qualifiers to make it here, and they're not only just representing their teams that they train, that they play for during the rest of the year, but they're also representing their country here, and I think it's going to be exciting to see which will be the strongest country overall. But it looks like we're about ready to get into this second half of our first game coming up, but man, 3-0, that is an almost insurmountable lead at this point, Brian.
Well, he got a chance, but the shot sailed right to the far post once again.
So close.
But as you can see from the replay, you can see all the tight markings from Juventus defenders. So you don't really have the angular trajectory to make a relatively clean shot.
Even when you look at successful passes from guys like Griezmann, and just like, well, you probably expect a little bit more, especially at this level of competition. But now we're seeing Teclis, even though the sides have been swapped, still keeping on the pressure.
Maintained possession there.
Yeah, passing center
Pjanic
field.
and Chan both have the playmaking abilities.
Oh,
Gets to
nice
Dybala.
lob right down the
Ah.
center. Cannot convert for the goal. I was holding my breath, Brian. This looked like such a great opportunity. Lobs it right in the middle, and unfortunately,
Yeah, that was a great lob through pass by Ronaldo. Dybala just couldn't finish it.
yeah, I thought that Dybala was actually kind of kicking it like with his off foot, but it actually was the primary, just a little bit off balance. Sometimes you just have to make the best of a hard situation to be in. But now right back at it again. Teclis so good on this control, always keeping the pressure on.
All right, Dybala. Can Teclis maintain possession? Yes.
Yeah, it can. Now it's back on.
A little bit elongated, but keep placing pressure on Kepa's end of the pitch is what's important here, because Kepa doesn't have any opportunities to make any plays on the opposition side.
Ball back in the hands of the feet of Ronaldo. Pass back and forth. Ronaldo right in the middle, dialing it down, but excellent dive there to stop an additional goal from going through. You've got like 4 defenders right in the box, but unfortunately, yeah, you can't get it in. No matter how good Ronaldo is, not getting through that defense.
Great coalition at the box to body block the shot. Otherwise, it would have been another goal and potential hat trick for Ronaldo.
Yeah,
match.
definitely don't want to set that up.
All right, now he's putting in Ousmane Dembele. Yeah, and what this means is that he's going to use Ousmane Dembele's pace to create space and potential opportunities to make scores. Because he's been completely relying just going through the center field and try to make plays, which have been completely denied by Teclis. So he's trying to make some adjustments, and let's see how these adjustments pay off in the remaining 30 minutes or so in the match.
All right, so inbounds from Dybala, off to the sides, not able to connect, but definitely want to clear that before things turn around. So resetting, back to midfield. Let's see if Kepa can get some momentum behind him. That was about the slowest turnover I think I've seen in a while, but sometimes you just want to relax.
And also another unforced turnover by Kepas.
I feel like we've seen several of those so far. Just taking a little bit to wake up here. Serbia.
Right, he beat the trap.
Got to get on the board.
Oh!
It just feels like the stress might be getting to him a little bit. Obviously, the 11th Esports World Championship, a big stage to compete on, and currently Kepa just can't get anything going. He's got a couple of shots on goal so far, but he's just not able to get it. Now here we go. There's the shot. There's the goal.
There's a consolation goal using Antoine Griezmann.
Glad to see that he's at least able to get on the board. It's not completely invincible, but I don't know. It's just going to take a long way to come back at this point. It is certainly a large advantage, but hey, this is the first step to a long comeback.
Yep, and he got it off on his strong foot, which is the left foot. And Griezmann also has a very strong kick power attributes, so he's not going to miss at point-blank range.
See right there, it did look like the angle might have been a little bit difficult, but holds it down, and that is going to be the first goal on the side of FC Barcelona. So nice to see that he is able to find something that works.
All right, so he's making additional substitutions. I believe that was De Jong coming in.
And I didn't actually catch what the substitutions from Teclis were going to be, because it looked like he was making at least one. It's important to keep up with your subs over the course of the game. Not only is stamina something to consider, but also you really do have to sort of figure out the game that your opponent is playing and try to reset your lineup to deal with any weaknesses that you might not have seen coming.
Yeah, definitely. Adjustments to the adjustments. Yep, so for Vidal's position, and also Semedo comes in for the net.
Continuing to mix it up here, but it's going to take a lot more than just a single goal to make a comeback happen here.
It's a free kick. Pjanic. It's a great kicker. He may even have the potential to put this in.
I wouldn't put it past him. Yannick positioning. Here we go. And he gets it. Oh, my.
Yep.
That's incredible. I mean, you were the one that called it ahead of time, but this is where really practice is showing off here for Teclis. He's shot, more penalties, more free kicks like that than I have ever seen in my entire life, and he is making it look easy at this point.
I mean, it's a combination of execution from Teclis' part and also Pjanic himself, because he has 91 place kicking. And that means his free kicks will be very deadly. And that just, I think, almost sealed the deal.
That's right. We're 69 minutes into this competition, and it doesn't look like the momentum is going Kepa's way. Once again, this is a best-of-1 in the group stage, so there's no chance to come back. Every win matters, and it looks like this is a great position for Teclis to be in.
Yeah, and Kepa has been consistently turning the ball over at midfield, which is giving him a lot of nightmarish problems.
Oh, great position here. Quadro passing to Ronaldo. Ronaldo loses it. Yannick there to clear the ball. I mean, not an insurmountable lead, but is certainly an incredibly strong position for the Italian representative to be in. But Kepa not out of it. He's going to look for some last-ditch efforts. Looking for a great shot. He gets it.
Another consolation goal by Suarez, who has great finishing, as all of you guys may know. And
Yeah,
also, getting consolation goals are important.
That's right.
Because even though if you take an L here, like, it's not the end of the world. It's significant that you get the dub, but if you take an L, if you score as many goals as possible, then those can definitely help you in the tiebreaker situation.
Yeah, it certainly does. If you can't win the game, you can at least score a lot, and then maybe later on that'll come back and help you out when it comes to tiebreakers. But, if you lose, you're already not scoring as many goals as you could, but it is still nice to see a couple on the board here for Serbia.
Yeah, and we just saw on the replay what Suarez can bring to the table, Great flick, and then first touch shot, great angle. That killer instinct exploded.
Yep, and he's got that great finishing trait, so he's absolutely living up to his standards there. Some more substitutions coming in for, I believe, both of our players, continuing to mix it up, and I think that's what we're seeing really as the characteristic for these later goals, is that the substitutions are really keeping the lineup fresh here, and especially for Kepa. He's had more success in the second half than he has in the first. Let's see if he can keep it going. Maybe you bring this closer, make it a 3-4, maybe a 4-4, tie it up.
Oh, there's Higuain right there, and then Ronaldo.
Oh, he's too good. He's just too good. Ronaldo's such a huge threat.
I mean, those short, long, it doesn't matter to Teclis. Those through passes are just completely shredding Kepa's defense. And most of the time, it seemed like Kepa wasn't even playing zone. Wasn't playing man-to-man now. He was playing mostly zone. And then those sharp, keen through passes just completely annihilated those zones. Yeah.
Look at this,
Like,
right back and forth.
CR7 was completely open from that 1-2 pass.
Yeah, absolutely picturesque there. Ronaldo, just such a gigantic threat. Look how open Ronaldo is at that point. Both defenders have to rush to try to stop that. By that point, Ronaldo already knows it's going in. So Teclis right now really shutting the door on any potential comeback here. You can see not just the squads, not just the players in game, but the players out of game. Teclis so incredibly skilled, and now we'll see if Kepa can find a way to score any last-second goals. Less than 10 minutes left in the game.
And also, I think he's making a statement to other competitors as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, even if I have a gigantic lead, I ain't stopping attacking. I'm going to get those goals.
Playing a little hacky sack right there, up front and center, still just trying to clear the ball, because at this point, it's kind of a game of keep away. Kepa has to make it through an incredibly dense defense, but can't find... Oh, actually, whoa, he gets it. Beautiful stoppage there.
Great save
Sandro,
by the keeper.
Yeah.
And then Sandro just clears it out. However, Kepa still maintained possession until just now. Is this going to be another counterattack? Higuain on his way.
He's pushing it all the way downfield. That did not look like a great situation. So we are going to have a little bit of a last-second shot here for, I guess, once again, another consolation goal.
Well, is he going to take the shot? No.
Okay.
Just turned it over. It's 5 minutes added time to the regulation, so we still have 5 minutes more to go.
3 goals, 5 minutes. Is it possible? Well, let's see. Kepa passing downfield. Looks like we've got another opportunity for a great shot. Instead, it is deflected.
Yeah, you really don't want to use Messi as your primary header in that case, because you can't out-height and out-jump those Juventus center backs.
For sure. Turned over now. Got Ali passing to Griezmann, clearing, and that, I believe, is going to do it.
Yep, and on our kickoff match, we get Ronaldo hat trick.
Can you make?
What a start!
You can't make up these storylines. A beautiful, scoreline for not only Ronaldo but also for Teclis Palottomatia representing Italy on the board with the first win of the 11th Esports World Championship in eFootball PES 2020.
And a convincing victory too.
Oh, for sure.
5-2. You already have +3 on your point board. You have +3 goal differentials, and you have 5 goals scored. Can it get any better than this?
I mean, we're going to have to wait and see. It looks like we are going to have a short break in between our games. And when we come back, we'll be having Brazil taking on South Korea. So don't go anywhere.